Good morning, everybody. Happy Friday. Welcome to the Friday edition of GAI Insights Daily News Briefing. I am David DeLallo. I'm joined here by Luda and Paul, and I believe John is joining shortly from, there he is from the road. We've got Ankaj on as usual. Let me add him to our stage. So we'll go through several articles today, as we always do, and rate them as essential, important, or optional for the AI leader to review. We're going to look at a couple of new functionalities that are pretty cool being dropped by Perplexity and Anthropic. We will look at how generative AI did for Mount Sinai in predicting whether patients would get admitted to the ER, and a little bit of research and an article on how Italian CIOs are using generative AI, which I'm still a little perplexed as to why they decided to key in on that, other than that the journalist was Italian. But I too am Italian, so I'd like to see how my fellow people are using generative AI, and I guess we're going to find out. So, Ankaj, do you need me to present, or are you able to do so? Because I don't.
David, would be great if you can present.
Okay, I have set up to do so. Give me one moment here to pull things up. All right, we will start off with Anthropic. Your sound was a little off, Ankaj, so I'm going to go ahead and introduce. So Anthropic, through an API, is now letting you create, let us call it, agents that can perform tasks for you. It's being rolled out slowly over time. I haven't checked how it works yet. I'm not sure anybody else has gotten a chance to yet, but let's see what we think about this one. Luda.
David, you got off the other screen.
Oh, I'm onto the wrong screen. Here we go.
Yeah, I thought that it is an important news, because every time there is a more simple way to create something productive quickly, I think that's a big advance that our leaders need to know about. So I rate it as important. It is not clear to me, and I haven't experimented with it, where coding is required. It appears that it does a little bit to create those bots. If so, you need to train them and give them some information, and then to plug it into your environment. But it seems like that work has been simplified quite significantly. And so as a result, I think this is an important feature that they're introducing.
Okay, we've got one vote for important. Any other thoughts on this one?
Yeah, no, I think it's good that we start experimenting with more bots, and I think this is yet another tool for AI teams to cost effectively start learning. Because 2025 is going to be all about the automated tasks, bots, agents, in my view.
I mean, it's looking like it's more going to be 2024 at this rate. These are rolling out fairly quickly.
Yeah, they're not actually putting it out completely. They're just opening it up for a group of users to experiment, and then they will open it up to the public. So it's interesting. And the pricing is by the amount of tokens in and out. So this is a developer type of pricing. That's why I feel that it's probably coding is required to put this bot together.
All right, sounds like we are on board for important. I will put the gavel down there, and we will move on to our next article. So this next article, apparently a bunch of players, Google, Meta, Intel, Microsoft, AMD, and others have come together to create a common standard for the way that you link GPUs together. Notably absent from this is NVIDIA, so we would understand why. They kind of have the market power here and probably want to stick to their own connectors, which they have. So, John, I had you down for this one. Did you have a chance?
Yeah, I did. I would rate this as optional. I think it's a long-term play to try to create, reasonable alternative to the, NVIDIA ecosystem. But I don't think it's something, they're talking about over the next couple of years. I think NVIDIA is going to continue to have incredible primary demand because it's funny. I was just talking with my investment advisor yesterday, and I'm bullish on NVIDIA because I think that a combination of the market leaders today and I think the U.S. military is going to invest in the creation of new capability. So I think this is a long-term play. I don't think it's something our AI leader needs to worry about in the near term, so I would rate it as optional.
All right, optional from John. Luda, Paul, any other thoughts or ratings?
Yeah, I think I agree with John that at this point, the impact of that development is optional. However, I really applaud them for doing this. Maybe they can speed up. It's always great to have competition, even though, and I'm from Soviet Russia, right? So I love competition. That's why I'm here. I think that will put NVIDIA's feet to the fire and actually start putting more chips out there. So that I like that development.
All right, we will go with interesting but optional on this one. Let me take us to the next one. So, Perplexity has a new feature. I have played with it, actually. I made us a web page, so we'll see if I can actually switch to it easily enough. Basically, now you can have your search results, what you've been researching and such, be turned into a web page, and you could customize it to some degree. And then you can share it. You can share it on Twitter or social, or you can create a link. It's actually also crawlable by the web if you publish it to the web. Crawlable by Google and other search. It's pretty cool. I don't know if I wanted to rate this important. I think it's optional. It's a nice feature, and again, it's just another way that we're kind of seeing search evolve. And here, it's going to be very personalized, right? You create your own page of all of the different things. Let me see if I can pull this up really quickly.
I would go. I'm sorry, John. Were you talking? I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was going to say I would go important. I think that Paul and John Calcio were at a client just the other day, and they get a huge amount of their leads through search engine optimization, and that organization was just I'll let you talk, Paul. That organization was just ignorant of the transformation in search, and it's their major channel to market. So I think I would rate this as important because now you're starting to put content out there through the robots, and I think it's going to be part of the mix of influencing where search is going to go in the near term. I don't know how you feel, Paul.
Yeah, I mean, I actually think it's connected a little bit to what the earlier one on bots. So if we think we're moving towards the internet that might be 80-90% AI generated content, and this year we'll have bots be able to create web pages that are specific to my business that are SEO crawlable. It's something to at least be aware of for those industries. I had an optional because it's just a feature, and I don't think we should tell every feature is a thing. But I think the trend of AI generated content that can influence your SEO search is the important trend, and this is indicative of it.
I actually was thinking essential, guys. Let me make it.
Oh, okay. Why?
One of each.
No,
Exciting Fridays.
Yeah, maybe Friday. Look, we've been talking about the fight for how the search will transpire, right? And this is a critical feature. Remember, Perplexity, I think, partnered with Taco, the video engine, and so you can now not only create those, but it can be very video oriented and image oriented, and this will elevate the whole web search to a completely next level, right? So it provides a way to highlight your very crawlable and very succinct website or page focused on a particular topic. I feel that this will change the nature of search, or is changing the nature of search. So I think it's important for our leaders to know that this is happening.
Who's got the
Okay,
chocolate?
David. You have it, David. You're King Solomon. We're gonna cut the baby here. What's up?
I'm going to split it down the middle. I'm going to go important. I'm not sure it quite raises the level of essential, but I mean, it's really cool, and everything's moving quickly with this recreation of search. By the way, we talked about their partnership with Taco, I think, or I don't know if it's Taco, how it's pronounced, which is enabling graphs to be created if you pull up data sporadically. But I had it happen the other day when I was searching for something. I'm kind of surprised actually it didn't do it with this one, because there's plenty of data on internet penetration that it could have put up there. But it's really cool and really useful. So I'm still going to go important on this one, but definitely excited about this. And
But David, I do want to highlight, Perplexity has really had the last fantastic 60 days. They're raising money, they're getting visibility. AI enthusiasts continue to use them as their go-to search engine. They've got this feature here. It's quite exciting. It's jamming up Google on their search generative experience SCE, and it's creating great value for customers. So it's quite exciting.
Yeah, it is exciting.
Yeah.
And there's a debate between Michael and Kevin on the in commentary.
There we go.
Right.
Kevin
Kevin's
fixed his own typo there, so I put up your new one, Kevin. Okay, you almost swayed me, but I'm going to go down the middle on important on this one. Let us move on to some research. So a handful of researchers here have used embeddings to get GPTs to be able to add better. We know that they're sometimes not that great at math, although we just reviewed an article that showed that they excelled at financial statement analysis and did better than financial analysts. So I think in some cases they can. And here they've used a method to help math and mostly arithmetic. It says they also helped do better at multiplication. And I think, did I put John or Luda on this one? I can't switch to my other screen, so I rely on
Luda on this one.
It's me. Okay.
Luda.
Yeah, it's optional, but it's interesting. So they now fixed the issue, it seems like, in LLMs by introducing this embedding. So it's essentially they introduced the short-term memory for where the digital spot is from the beginning of the number, and with that memory, it can do big numbers, certainly in addition, it seems like in multiplication and division. And so that's sounds like a good fix, but it's optional.
Yeah, as Michael Novak notes, this is already, Wolfram Alpha already does this. I would say it's optional. I also think it's kind of crazy to try to get these models to do stuff that if you could parse it at the beginning, you could just hand it to a different piece of software. Anyway, I would say definitely optional.
No, but John, I think this will be integrated in the next generation of LLMs, I'm sure, so that all of them do it.
Yeah, I hear you. I just wonder if you're going to have a pre-processing of the query and not bother to try to stick this capability in the LLM. You know what I mean? Just parse it out. Give it to I think it was a subroutine, or what's the term of art? Gang of experts kind of models. Anyway,
it's specialized for sure for the applications that require addition of large numbers.
Yep, optional. All right. All right, David, bringing the hammer down. We're doing optional here.
Oh, you're on mute. David, you're on mute.
All right, I'm muted. There's a lot of juggling going on here. I'm missing Ankaj today. I've got multiple screens that I'm trying to work on here. I'm coming down on optional, and we're going on to Italian CIOs. This is an article that goes through various ways that few different companies in Italy are using generative AI. Now, if you recall, Italy in the beginning, they banned ChatGPT and then open the door back up. It goes through all the common use cases that we've seen. Frankly, the customer service, internal knowledge tool, coding. I don't really think that this is one that's readable at this point or requires a read. It's just rehashing a lot of things we've already seen. I know that Tim, and I agree, sometimes talk about back pocket articles that show that, activity is happening. So for an AI leader looking to try to get resource, et cetera, they can say, hey, look, these companies are doing this, but I think there's plenty better articles for that usage. So I would rate this one optional, but let me open it up to you guys and see what you think.
No, definitely optional for me.
Yeah, it's a good summary with use cases pointing in the Italian space. It summarizes coding and customer bots, and it's a longish article. I agree with optional. It's like boring a little, but not a bit actually. But in general, if you want an article that summarizes where we are in applications, it can be used.
Okay.
All right.
We will go optional on this one, and we have the final article of the week. Mount Sinai has done some research, and they have tried out generative AI, GPT-4 specifically, for predicting whether patients that come into the emergency room will end up needing to be admitted. They did not do this in real life. It's just an experiment. They took a bunch of data, though, real life data, patient data, and used that to train the model a little bit. And obviously, once they trained it, it showed better results than not trained. I'll have to go down again to see what the accuracy was. I think it was around in the high 80% area. John, what did you think about this one?
Yeah, I think this is essential for anybody who's in healthcare, provider especially, and payers. But I would say optional for our AI leader, because it's I think it's impressive that using a large language model, they can do predictions to who's actually going to have to be seen and admitted and so forth. And that's got all kinds of implications for insurance and for provision of care, and I think eventually over time for litigation and everything like that. But it's early days. I don't think it's that surprising, but it's pretty impressive. So I would say optional in terms of the broad audience, and essential if you're in healthcare.
All right. Any other thoughts on this one?
Yeah, I agree with John. It would certainly have a very big impact on the beds allocation, as you know that this is the struggle because they don't know ahead of time who needs to be admitted, and the beds are in shortage usually. So it's a potentially a great application for efficiency and quality of healthcare in emergency rooms.
All right.
David, I need to drop. I'll leave you guys to do the summary. Everybody have a great weekend, and see you all on Monday.
Okay.
All right. Goodbye, John. So today we've got two important articles, both articles about the new features coming out from Perplexity and from Anthropic. Everything else that we rated today was optional, including this piece, the piece about the Italian CIOs, the research on the arithmetic being improved, and the tech giants forming the consortium around GPU connectors. Paul, do we know who is going to be joining us on our Learning Lab on Monday?
We do, and let me triple confirm because it is Adam. So it's quite exciting. So Adam, one of our analysts, will be talking about how he has automated some of the process internally for pulling together articles and displaying it. So he's going to walk through some of how we actually use robots today to save us time.
All right, very cool. So happy reading, everybody. We'll see what news comes up next week. I think next week is not Apple, right? Apple is the following week, their conference. I believe it's June 7th. So TBD, what pops up next week. It's never boring here in the world of AI right now, which makes it a lot of fun. We will be here following every moment of it. If you want to follow us, please do sign up for our newsletter. You will find the URL for that anywhere that you have clicked in to join this show. And you can watch us on YouTube and LinkedIn if you miss anything. Thank you all for joining, and we will see you next week.
Happy weekend.